Welcome to Creative Appliques. This video we're going to show you how to sew our in the hoop hanging pocket design. This file comes with two different options. One has the satin stitching, which this video will cover, and one has the grommet. Both files are included in the same purchase, and they come in 5x7, two designs. One will fit the 5x7 hoop and the other will fit the 6x10 hoop. These are the 6x10 hoop, and they hold, this is an iPhone 10 or X, and you can use them for many different things. So let's get started with the supplies we need. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the supplies that we will need to make the pockets. So first we want to hoop stabilizer, so I like to use a medium tearaway stabilizer, and this one is from Pelon, and it is number 806, and it's called Stitch and Tear. And I really like this one because it has a nice smooth tear. Some of the tearaway stabilizers can kind of get a little bit of frayed ends on it, and this one has a really nice clean crisp tear to it that a lot of them do not have. So the other thing that you can also hoop is Super Solvy, which is wash away stabilizer. I like to have the tearaway because with the tearaway it will stay inside the pocket and it will give it a little bit more stability. Okay. Then you're going to want to have your what you're actually going to use for the pocket. So you can use something like marine vinyl. This is marine vinyl that you can get that is nice because it's a bit thicker and it will add nice stability. You can find vinyl sheets like this at Hobby Lobby and possibly Michael's to give it some stability. You can use felt. You can use a combination of things. A lot of times I use felt on the back because it doesn't make it slippery, and it also it's not seen because it's against the wall or against a door. Or you could use fabric. So for this one, what I'm going to be using is I'm going to use the felt on the back. I'm going to use fabric for the front and then fabric for the pocket. So on the back of the fabric, I treated it already with what's called, it's Pelon brand, and it's called Decor Bond, and it's number 806, and it's fusible. And so I like to use this because it gives it more stability to the fabric, and it's fusible. It has a shiny side to it that you iron onto the back. So so felt for the back, the purple for the front, and then for the pocket. So the pocket is basically, you'll cut three sizes the same. So for the 5x7 design, you'll want 3 pieces that are 7 inches high by 4.5 inches wide. The one that is for the pocket will be folded in half. And then you have the 2 pieces of fabric for the front and the back. So for the 5x7, you want 4.5 inches wide by 7 inches high, 3 pieces. For the 6x10, you want 10.5 inches high by 6 inches wide, 3 pieces, and then the pocket gets folded in half. So now we're going to tape down the piece of fabric onto the area to cover the stitching. So this is my front that is going to cover all the stitching. Now, had I been sewing this for myself and not for demo purposes, I wouldn't have sewn it in black. I would have sewn it in white or the color that was that's going to be outlining this. the satin stitchings around it. So you want to make sure you cover all the stitching. And I am going to tape part of it in place, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for the center of the circle. Being that this is not the one with the grommet, and it's just the one that has all of the satin stitching on it, you're going to need to cut the circle out here while you're stitching it, so that you have a nice clean cut on it. So I'm trying to feel underneath here to see where the actual stitching is. It doesn't matter so much if you sew over the masking tape, because it will pull off really easily from the stitching. Okay, so I didn't tape up here, and I'll show you why. So in here is that circle. Okay, this is the circle that we have that is for where the hole will be. So in order to not cut the stabilizer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to fold it in to about the center of the circle here, and I'm just going to take a little snip in the fabric. Okay, just a little snip. All right, so you can see here that I have a snip here, and what this is going to do is it's going to be easier for me to cut the center of this circle when after the stitching has after it's been stitched down, and that way it will be less of a chance that I'm going to be cutting the stabilizer. It's just a little precaution so that, you know, especially when you have tearaway stabilizer, it's really easy to just end up cutting that stabilizer. Okay, so now we're going to sew the tack down. So now that we sewed it all down, I can remove the tape, and it's going to be easier for me to unhoop it from the machine, to remove the hoop from the machine, not to remove the fabric from the hoop. So I'm going to cut it. Okay, now we'll put the hoop back on the machine, and we'll place, well, actually, I can place the pocket here. So if you can see, now it's kind of hard to see the color I used, but the design sewed two little stitches right here and right here on each side. It's sewed two little lines. That's the placement line for where the pockets need to be. The pocket needs to be put. Okay, so now we have our fabric for the pocket that it's folded in half. I did the deco bond only on the one side, so on half of it I mean, so it's not going to be so bulky when I try to fold it. So it will still have some stability there, but it's not going to be super thick. So now these are my placement lines right here that were sewn out, those two little lines, and I'm just going to put it slightly above it so that they're not shown, you can't see them when they're when it's, you know, after it's all sewn. But the lines are actually, they're so small that they're not really going to be seen once the satin stitching is on top of it. So I'm just taping it down so it stays. And now we'll take it back to the machine and stitch the pocket down. Now we will sew the pocket down. And now we'll remove the tape and trim close to the stitching. If you wanted to add a name, now would be the time to do that before you put the back fabric on. So you can either, add it in your software so it sews as that part of the step. So you can either do it now, or you could do it before you put the pocket on. So either way, or if you choose, you can sew an initial or a name on the pocket if you hoop it, in a separate step before you attach the pocket here. So now we're going to attach the fabric to the back, making sure to cover all the stitching, and we tape it down. Now we're going to sew the tack down for the back fabric. Now we're going to trim the fabric. So I could have done the same thing here, which I forgot to do, but because you knew where the circle was, you could have cut the center of the circle before, like we did on the front. Okay, so now that it's all trimmed, we'll take it back to the machine and sew all of the satin stitching. Okay, now we'll just remove the stabilizer and the center, and you're all finished. Okay, you could, we need to trim up some of the little random stitches here, but there you go. Really fast and easy. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are new here, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up so I know that you're enjoying my content, and I will take time to make some more videos. If you do subscribe, please hit the bell so that you are notified when we have new videos uploaded. Thanks for joining me today.